So welcome back to the final round of pairings in this round robin, round 9. This sees Cameron Dunn against Ryan from New Zealand. So Cameron on the left versus Ryan on the right.
Come in, mate. You don't have to hide behind the curtain. Not at all. Alright, sweet as. Take a seat. Of course, they're for us, absolutely. Okay, cool. Okay, so I guess we should do an obligatory last round shot, right?
Wait till I get the camera up.
What, have you not done it? Hey?
Before I disappear.
Oh, no, yeah, alright. Yeah. What, you're not keen?
I am very keen.
Okay.
I am in super need of one of those. Thank you very much.
Jesus, okay. Are you alright?
No.
Okay, Kat, do you want one?
I'm designated driver, so.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
That just means you can't have
But
two.
we're here for hours more.
Nice.
Okay.
No peer pressure.
Uno. Isaac, I assume you're in?
Yeah, man.
Isaac's in.
Isaac's always in.
I'm proud of us boys for doing that whole bottle this weekend.
I'm not, man. It's fucking sick.
It's good.
It's the worst thing I've ever tasted.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, sure.
For spiced rum, it's
I've drunk worse.
On the bad side. Are we live?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But they can't see you.
No, that's fine. They don't need to see me.
It's not fine. Everybody wants to see you.
You say these, and now these terrible rumours are about me.
What rumours?
Put the camera up 2 seconds.
Okay,
You're
now
Australia's sweetheart.
I don't know about
That's not a
that's
rumour.
true. Isaac. Oh, you're going to give him that one? Okay.
I don't want to put it near his equipment.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for helping out on the stream over the weekend and everything with the event organisation. I just want to say a massive thank you to this man over here, Isaac. Get your face in here. You've done an amazing job, given the internet crisis that we've had. But yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Gemmel. Thanks, Kat. We're all doing fantastic.
Cheers.
And thanks to me as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Okay, so on the left-hand side, we have a dear friend of mine.
Dear friend of everybody's, I think.
Cameron-
Dear friend of Australia.
Cameron Dunn is a great guy. He's just come top 8 at the System Open over the weekend. He's a recently promoted New South Wales Blue Squadron member, playing for the Free Folk here, and he also got promoted to the Smashed Avocados, which is a subsect of New South Wales Blue Squadron, where
Is
all
that the
inner
millennial
Westies.
group of...
Yeah. So the Smash Avocados, I don't know if you guys heard the rumor, but the reason that my generation can't afford a house is because I spend too much money on smashed avocado toast in the morning.
And whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, this is a star fruit.
Starfruit?
Yeah, so
That
Cameron.
is... I'm
Cameron-
too English to know what that is.
So I don't act like I don't know how to eat it.
Is it like an Asian... Like a lychee,
I've
they have-
completely forgotten. Like they literally, Sherman bought me this morning, saying, "I'll get him something for breakfast."
Is
as
it like
a
a
joke.
native Australian thing or what?
Yeah, no, I've got no idea. I thought you were the cultural expert, Kat. That's
Yeah,
literally what you told me last night.
A little bit of that. Are we drinking? No. It's okay.
Yeah, we were actually. Okay, so yeah, we've got a great friend of mine on the left-hand side, and he's going to be flying against New Zealand's Ryan Laffin, I believe it is,
Yep.
with his Rebel squad. So it's Rebel on Rebel. We've got 2 wedges. Cameron's wedge has a crack shot. No, excuse me. Cameron's wedge has plasma torpedoes. Cameron's Jake has Predator and crack shot, and we have the Falcon, the Millennium Falcon, with Nia Num and Leia on board of Lando Calrissian. And we'll just get up Ryan Laffin's squad in a second, but it's basically 2 U-Wings, Wedge, and Jake as well. And Jake, I'm not sure what upgrades Jake has, but I don't think they're particularly juicy. I think he might not even have an upgrade, or just like a crack shot or something like that. I think he's got Predator and crack shot as well, but we'll confirm when the stream overlay comes up. So, there's a lot of jousting power in Dave Laffin's squad, and there's a lot of slippery combinations that...
Dave Laffin or Ryan Payton?
Ryan Paint.
It's Ryan Payton. Sorry, guys, watching on stream. That was a slip up. Yeah, so there's a lot of jousting power in Ryan's squad. But there's a lot of sneaky tricks that Cameron can do with this one as well. So Cameron actually went 6-0 in a hyperspace trial. I believe it was in Campbelltown a couple months ago with this squad. I don't think he had the Millennium Falcon title on Lando, but he did have proton torpedoes instead of plasma torpedoes on Wedge, which allowed him to kind of one-shot a lot of ships that were in the meta at that time. And there's just so much slippery interactions that you can pull off with this squad. And actually, I think he made the hyperspace trial cut in your event, right? Up in the one that you were commentating with Adam Sherman?
Cameron did, yeah.
Yeah. And he was playing on stream against Marcus, correct? Yeah, that one time. What?
That one where they were playing on the stream and I just see Marcus's vape thing.
Yeah.
And he just picks it up and I was like, is he fucking vaping at the table?
He was vaping at the
and
table.
he's like,
yeah.
yeah, why not?
Because it's illegal, but yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, I need Mark. Mark needs to come and earn his paycheck. Uh-oh.
I wish I got a fucking paycheck.
You get to hang out with me all weekend. That's paycheck enough.
Fair.
Okay, so yeah, just a pretty standard opening move here with Ryan faking in the joust. Lando's likely just going to do a 3-bank toward our pitcher and toward Wedge and Jake down on the bottom left-hand side, and then he'll be able to boost around. So, Kat, what do you reckon about this matchup?
Not quite the rebel expert.
Yep.
I was going to say, I guess I'm interested to see when they come to the middle how they engage. Because for me it's about that first engagement and then how you reposition for the second one.
Yes.
Especially when there's wedges kind of directing
Yeah.
where the fire's going to go.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of looking forward to where this first engagement meets and then how that repositions for a second engagement.
So I think Wedge has an R3 astromech, so when he takes a target lock token, he can get 2 target locks. But they have to be on different ships. So
Yeah.
that'll come in handy to get mods on a whole bunch of ships in this squad. So that was a relatively conservative move off of Cameron. He's probably just trying to fake in whether or not the U-Wings would bait him out. So that's a good move. Wedge is in a pretty good position on Cameron's side to come in and flank, but it depends on how long he takes to come across the board, because these U-Wings could potentially pincer him up in the middle here. So, as you said, Kat, if the engagement takes place in here, and Wedge hasn't made it around the side in time, Wedge is likely the most fragile target for New Zealand's squad, so they can kind of take it out on him. What was that one, mate? Don't want to talk about it? They're talking to Tim?
Yep.
Okay. So we've got a judge ruling, and Mark is the beautiful man behind the scenes responsible for some of these.
Remember we had this thing about making calls against other teams? Super not okay with that. We are...
Okay, just give us 1 second. Do you want to cut the mic for a second, mate? Okay, guys, we're back here with Kat. Mark's on the phone. Sorry that I left you in such suspense, but we're going to leave it in the suspenseful moment for a while, and we might have to talk about what happened later. It's not like player versus player controversy. It's just something that's happened in a game state that needs to be corrected, and we're going to contact the head judge, Tim, who's not here right now, and we're going to call him. So we'll figure it out. So, Kat, I'll give you control of the computer,
Yeah, sure.
and we can talk about some of these comments as well, and we'll do the stream updates. Okay. So, the new Northern Territory team have done the full Monty and revealed themselves as South Australians. Yeah, that was the big drama. He said you were the head judge. Well, I mean, like, I'm consulting those guys in terms of rulings and floor rules because I'm not behind it. They'll give me their assessment, and then I'll have to make the calling because I'm, I guess, in charge of the event, and I have to be the unbiased one because they're kind of like supporting from local. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, so I think. No, so this is something that I've said over the weekend. Ryan's squad is going to pound for pound outweigh Cameron's in the joust. He's got wedge, he's got 2 big 3-dice guns, and Cameron doesn't. But Lando will really be able to be tricky enough to avoid the arcs of these U-wings for at least the first engagement, and then they'll have to use their pivot wing ability to track down Lando. Now, what Cameron's really, really good at is using Lando as bait while Wedge leverages as much firepower as possible. So you can watch for that kind of tricky engagement. And I believe Ryan has just been thrown under the bus in most of his matches this weekend. So, yeah. How have you found the format? You've been looking at it in terms of what teams are playing who, and it's a completely different type of X-Wing event. Is it something that you would come and watch again, do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. As I say, I'm fairly new to the particularly competitive X-Wing. I've really enjoyed watching the players choose their matchups.
Yeah.
And at first it looked a little bit like just Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
A fast-moving card game.
Yeah,
but actually
absolutely.
there's a lot of strategy there to line up which ones of your team line up well with another team's.
Exactly.
And I think that, for me in X-Wing, a lot of the movements, a lot of the rock placement, a lot of that thing is a big part of the game.
Yeah.
So similarly in this competitive X-Wing, I think the way you match up your teams is pretty big.
Yeah,
part
for
of
sure.
the
No,
game too.
I think that's what a lot of our players here love.
Yeah.
They love the fact that they get to have control over their squad building,
Yeah.
and then using those squad strengths in a game how they want to apply it.
Yeah.
But it's all behind that spreadsheet matchup process.
Yeah.
I've got to make a phone call, guys. I'll be back in 1 second.
Thank you. Welcome back.
How are you?
Pretty good. We've had recommendations to have a few more shots to help our decision. Actually, the engagement hasn't quite started yet, but they're moving into to get there.
What's this? No, he said you were head judge.
Yeah,
Me?
Tom was dealing with that one just before. Yeah.
Yeah, look, things are ultimately Tom's decision.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
this is one thing that I just cannot be involved in.
They're having quite good banter, the two, right
So
now.
ideally just crushed Cameron with the big board thing.
Oh,
Who
no.
did?
I did, because I was
Oh.
moving it because the sun was all down one of the tables on one side, and it nearly fell on top of all the streaming stuff and crushed it.
Isaac's trying to murder Cameron. I don't know why you're taking New Zealand's side in this, bro.
Trying to take out Cameron.
We're Team Cameron right now. 3, 5. Are the Ewing stalling already, or one more bank in first? Stalling already, bro.
I think both teams seem a little bit hesitant to come in for the first engagement here.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there's been a lot of talk about stalling and not
Yeah.
engaging and what have you lately,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating the shit out of me. The
Yeah.
fact that it's a legitimate tactic is the problem.
Yeah. I'm the worst person to talk to about that because I'm 4 SFs. I want to get in there, do some damage. There's quite some distance between the two still right now. I mean, that doesn't quite look like range, does it?
And I absolutely agree, Kip Dog. The thing with the stalling is the same with running for time. They are both, well, I say stalling, dead stopping with the U-wings and rotating, getting that easy turn is the idea of running for time or dead stopping and avoiding engagement is a legitimate tactic, but it bothers me that it's a legitimate tactic, like personally. I've never, like I'm not going to call him for something like that, obviously, but it's frustrating watching people not play the game. But I don't think that's going to happen here. I think we're going to see a game, for sure.
Honourable jousting, indeed.
Honourable jousting for all.
So my favourite joust is quick draw and quick draw. One of the first ones was rolled 12 red into 12 red. That was fast.
Yeah, look, that kind of thing is like it bothers me, but it is a legit tactic. Like that's how games are won.
And so how is the points district? So it's Lando with 97. Yeah. So you'd have to get. What would you have to get on Ryan's team to make? Like what would Cameron have to kill to be viable? Yeah.
Oh, if Lando was the only one left to me.
Yeah.
Assume Lando's the only one left. I think Ryan is not at 200. He may have a bid. I don't have the list. And Isaac is doing things.
That's all right.
But yeah, it's roughly 100 points. If he
Yeah.
kills roughly 100 points and gets away with Lando.
So it'd be Wedge and one of the other two. So I think Cameron's positioned Lando well there. So he
Oh,
can
absolutely.
move,
He,
into
I
different
just,
positions next
you
to
heard him say, "I'm not playing that game." Like
Yeah.
he's not going to run. He's
Yeah.
going to take advantage of the fact that they've just turned away from him, and he's going
Yeah.
to get a free shot. And this is why Cameron's one of my favourite people.
That's good. Yeah, one forward might have taken him a bit further out of the game for another round. Yeah, it does look like.
So there is a legitimate difference. You're right. Holding off for the best engagement, but there's a fine line which has to be obviously done on a case by case basis between holding out for best engagement and trying to avoid engagement, or as we've seen with Quad Vipers recently, holding off for engagement until the very last round and trying to only get one round of engagement. Like that is. That's not much different for stalling to end the game. Like, if you know you're going to get advantage in just one confrontation and you stall out for just one confrontation, that's poor as far as I'm concerned. Still legitimate, still probably, you know,
You want to
it's
get
not
a few
against the
exchanges
rules.
of fire in a few rounds, definitely.
Yeah, but different people have different opinions on that at the moment.
Yeah.
I know some of the guys in the States are heavily discouraging people from doing things like that, but I don't feel like you have a basis in the rules to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's 3 hits. Oh no, 2 hits and a crit there. Saved. 1 shield. He's in the lead. Yeah. Oh, we lost a shield. Sorry. Who was that shield off of? I know we lost a shield. Here we go. Over here.
That is the U-wing with Lando and Cassian. Is that Cassian? Oh yeah, Cassian.
Yeah, no. Easy. I do. See you later.
Shield off of the Ewing with Dunn and Cassian. Sorry, sound effects. Great.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to do there. Whether they... See if I can line this up properly.
Yeah.
Whether they try and head the Falcon off here, or whether they just... Because they didn't take the stress because of Leia, and they just pivot back this way, thinking that the Falcon's going to come up here. Oh wow, that lines up way better now. Awesome.
The lines of pro. They're pro.
I'll be back.
Go back like
Yeah.
another couple of meters.
So we've got. Oh, wrong one. Alone and commentating. Would that be a reference for me? Hi. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry. First order preference here, but keen to see the Rebels take each other on. Yeah, might meet Jake on this. We'll see. It'd be interesting to see where the next movements take them. Because I'm always keen to see how they... it's good to get into one first engagement, but then how do you kind of reposition for the second one? Particularly with two Jakes in this game. They can move pretty fast, so it's keen. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for this round to see where they go before I comment any more on that one. I think both teams have kind of, we talked a bit like playing for good repositioning and things like that. They've both set themselves up well to be able to either come around the side here or come in for direct engagement. It seems like they're both, I don't know how to say that, kind of getting cautiously ready for the next engagement. Stephanie's wings going for 3 bank. Okay, so nicely landed behind the rock there. Too hard coming in. So he's kind of trying to meet the Falcon there if he's going to take a left up the middle. I know, right? If the Falcon turned in. We'll have to wait and see. It's kind of, yeah, I guess covering both bases if the Falcon does turn in or if it ends up going through the middle there. Exactly. Cameron's got some choices here with Jake. Let's see if he's keenly thinking about them.
I'll sit in
Shall we
briefly.
whisper in his ear? Thanks, Isaac. Let's give Cameron some whispers. There we go, he's going to make the barrel roll in. Yeah, the Falcon's probably up with some shots.
Yeah, no matter which way he goes. But no, that was a good call, moving the U-wings on either side of the rock, I think.
Yeah. So whether he turns in or goes straight, they've got
yeah,
some shots on him.
he's going to have both covered.
Yeah.
And I think, well, I was thinking Wedge might do a 1 forward or something this turn.
Yeah, it's
but
have Jake
it's
Barrow
not going
rolling
to be
in
able to
there,
do that
isn't
this
it?
turn.
So he might go a bit wider.
But I was kind of thinking Wedge wouldn't have done anything too aggressive.
No, you wouldn't want to be in front of that line coming in. Sorry, buddy, already. Cameron says he loves Jake.
Oh, Jake's a champ. I flew him a heap in 1.0. It was
Yeah?
it was very, very sad to see him. Like, he's still good in 2.0, but he's not the same
Yeah.
type of ship. You know, it's not the same ship anymore. But,
Yeah. Turn back
so it was a
never
little
mind.
bit disappointing, you know, because you could put him up, you could put Jake up to a 9 in 1.0, you know, so that he could compete at that higher squad
Yeah.
level, which he just isn't able to do. He's more of a support ship now.
Yeah.
So,
So I haven't actually played Jake myself, but I've played against a few Jakes, and they're very slippery ships.
yeah. Oh, so he
He's
has
marking
gone
his ship.
that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, sloop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like the Falcon will have some shots through a rock, and definitely be taking some what looks like range 1 shots this round. Ooh, is that gonna just? Yeah, easy.
I think so.
Plenty of room. Plenty of room.
Yeah, no, that's what we were thinking. Like, Wedge didn't want to overcommit too much in that
No.
spot.
Oh, that was good moves there to get Jake in the front line there and Wedge fitting nicely behind. Did he layer? I had a question. Did he layer?
He did have a token. He did put a token down on the other side behind where the ship is. So I don't know if that was a stress or like a focus or something, but we can't quite see it.
Yeah. Okay. I think he did. The charges are all red. Just got Wedge in range 3 there, they've said. It's got a few target choices there. Locking Mando. And the Gotch. Oh, here we are, first round of engagement.
Getting some
Oh,
action.
second. Plasma torpedoes. Let's see how these weapons go. Oh. Yep. Unfortunate roll, but still 2. Still 2. Oh, blanks out in the invade.
Cameron's
Just debating whether or not to evade.
no. Cameron's being nice and actually
Yeah.
pointed out that he had the evade
Yeah.
to spend.
Spend this to the evade. There it is. Oh, that's good sportsmanship right there.
Yeah.
So what did we lose there? Because I'm really bad at updating the computer. Sorry.
Oh, so the U-wings lost. Looks like the U-wings lost all his shields.
U-wing, yeah, it does, and that was not that was the same one that was damaged before, which means this one here. I hope that's right, because he lost a shield before, 2 down. I think I got that right.
So we've got the blue and Heffier.
The other one's untouched.
Yeah.
Still. 3, 2, 2. Yeah. Oh, so they're not getting many hit
Yeah, we'll
rolls off
mark.
of that.
We can mark.
Oh, thank you.
I think this one is.
So the dice are still warming up, I'd say. Oh, there's 4 coming. Let's see what happens here. No, still 2 or 4 is not bad, but he probably was hoping for at least 3 there, I would imagine. Not much Not much evaded left there. So it takes 2 off. Oh, where'd that happen? Oh, over here. Okay.
So we had
So I missed that one over there too. Ah, blanks out and evades again. Two, three. 2, 2, 3. So it looks like we.
so we lost.
Are we shields down on Lando?
It's hard because there's 3 shields there.
Yeah. Safe with one squiggle there.
I might run down and check and
If
see
you
what's
don't
going
mind,
on.
Isaac, I think I've missed a couple shields on the Lando there. The Falcon. Alright, so we might open this one up to the chat. How do you guys think they're faring at the moment? We've had a few chips on the ships in the first round and a few more chips there. They're both in close engagement here with the... I think both sides are kind of positioned each other well. They haven't lost formation. But as we can see, they can kind of come in again, potentially have back arcs. What do you guys think? Who do you think's in a better position for the next round, just about they set through the dials?
So yeah, Lando took 2 damage.
Sorry?
Lando took 2 damage.
2 damage.
Yeah, his shields are actually up there.
Thank you. I'll just ask the chat. So
And
2
that's-
shields down.
2 shields down on Lando.
Yep.
Wedge and Jake didn't take anything.
Wedge and Jake are untouched. Yep.
Hef has, we were correct, Hef is the white one, and he took an extra 2 hull.
2
So
hull
he's
as well.
down to 3, yeah.
Down to 3.
And the blue took 1.
1 shield down. All right, so that's just been updated. I've just asked chat what they think, who's well positioned.
Yeah.
Toddler is on 3 hull. Is that what we've got now as well?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, Toddler is on 3 hull. We've updated that. So everything's updated at the moment. And actually, the guys asked themselves as well, where to from here. So it's be interesting. What do you reckon, Isaac? Where do you reckon the best position might be for Cameron or Ryan at the moment?
So I think there's a good chance the Ewings might both stop,
Yep.
potentially. Has he got... Yeah, he does have Leia, which is active, I think. Oh no, his Leia's still got... Yeah, he can't use Leia this turn anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so having this one come in here
Yep.
to go for some blocking.
Yep. Leia next turn. Yep. So the Ryan's crew definitely wants to move in slowly to try and keep the front arcs there. How about Cameron's? Are they going to try and? They don't want to really risk all the back arc fire.
I got a feeling Wedge might bug out a bit
Yep.
down that way. Although, gotta watch that Ewing. I'm not sure. It's a bit tough spot for Wedge, I think, because if he calls it wrong, he's definitely going to be taking a lot of shots. I think.
Yeah.
And Jake will be going wherever kind of like Wedge is going, I think, right? Because he wants to pass that focus token off, ideally.
So it's just having a look at Lando style here. It's been called a 3-bank.
Sorted.
Yep.
That's him.
Alrighty, how we going here, guys?
Pretty good.
Yep.
So they've had a few encounters. We've just updated all the shields and hulls. There's been a bit of damage taken.
Yep.
Just ask the guys what they think for the positioning, because right now the fires went off, but it's kind of hesitant
Subsiding
about where
a
you're
little
going to be for the next
Yeah,
round.
there was a bit of
It's a bit good positioning of arc.
And whose positioning? As in Ryan was good positioning?
I think they both kind of were playing it pretty safe.
Yeah.
Cameron definitely got up on that initial damage though,
Yep.
because he really hit Hef pretty hard.
Okay.
But everyone else is relatively untouched. There's a few little scrapes. Blue took one. Lando took a couple.
Yeah.
So
Who has the first player here?
Cameron does.
Cameron, okay, so his Jake will be able to block up Ryan's Jake. So the beautiful thing, so did he do a sloop off of Lando? Is that what I heard?
Yeah. So he was here and slooped down that way. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So there's probably going to be able to be a straight move here off of Jake to clear the U-wing, and then a 3-bank off of Lando, assuming it makes it, will be a really good move there.
I think they did just call a 3-bank with Cassian.
Oh, as in they've revealed the
looked at
move.
it? Yeah.
Ah, of course, because
I
you got
think
Cassian.
so, yeah.
Nice. Yep. So does that mean you're
I don't know,
allowed
but I
to
think so.
change the dial?
If you guess correctly, you can
Yep.
change.
Oh, but you still
change
look
the
at it,
dial.
don't you?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
still look
So
at
he
it no matter
guessed
what.
3-bank right, but it was 3-bank left, I think.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So he probably thought that he was going to try and hopscotch over that
Yeah.
U-wing there in the middle. Okay. And have we used Leia?
Both players used Leia early on. Oh, sorry, Cameron used Leia last turn to do the sloop.
Sure.
And Ryan used his a few turns earlier
Yep.
to kind of get that positioning advantage, I
Yeah.
think.
So I think the charge there. So Leia will probably be active next turn.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Great. All right. So it's a pretty interesting turn of events. As I said, I think you can see Cameron's had a lot of experience with this, like a lot of experience with this squad. So he's really kind of effective at either blocking up some really key components of his opponent's squad. You need me, or you?
No.
No.
Do you want to sit in?
Jump in.
I made a comment earlier about someone with 4 Star Vipers avoiding combat until the last minutes of the game, and people may have got confused thinking that was this weekend.
Oh, that was last.
But this
week.
this was a big thing over in the States.
Oh,
At one of their
of course,
hyperspace
yeah.
trials. Remember
It
that
wasn't-
2-hour final?
It wasn't James Harden.
That's what I was.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for clearing that one up.
So who did we give the focus to off of Jake just then? That'll be interesting because he did do a barrel roll, correct?
Yes, but he needs to be in range 1 to do it.
But he can give it to himself.
He can.
So it's interesting that no token was placed. I wonder, Kat, did you hear him declare it?
I hear a barrel roll now.
Okay, sure. Give that man a hug. Who do you want to hug? Do you want me to hug Ventum or do you want to hug me? Either one. All good. Or Isaac as well. We can do that. Okay, so it'll be
Probably the
interesting to
guy
hear.
with
Yeah, so here's this beautiful 3-bank off of Lando. Beautiful spatial awareness. Okay, surely, no worries. Beautiful spatial awareness with Cameron. Now, what he's going to be able to do is either modify Wedge's bearing by giving him maybe a barrel roll. He can't boost him because he's a T65, not a T70. And he'll be able to bump a ship that he wants.
So he's just realised Jake should
Okay, cool.
focus.
So
Yeah.
good for Ryan letting him do it. I'm assuming that Cameron declared the intention and just didn't put the token down.
Possibly, but he also might be giving it to him because Cameron reminded him
That he had
of
an
something
evade.
earlier
Uh-huh.
that Ryan forgot.
Yep.
He rolled Lando focus evade on his U-wing. He
Sure.
forgot he had the evade, and
Yep.
Cameron pointed out, you can evade that shot. So
Okay, cool. All right, so they're going to give the action, it seems, to Wedge, which will be a target lock onto the U-wing that doesn't have a lid, and then Lando will take a focus.
Yeah.
And Wedge is doing a beautiful one forward here.
Yeah,
So is
it's
that
really good.
Hef Tobber? Yeah, so Hef Tobber's on 2. Yeah, so he's probably going to be able to eliminate Hef with Wedge this round.
Cameron said he's not happy with this exchange.
He's not happy with this exchange. Interesting.
Unless I misheard the not. Feel free to correct me, chat, if you heard different.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think they can hear the table
Oh
audio.
no,
Yeah.
sorry. I will
It's
do
just
extra
us.
hard. Sorry.
No, it's cool. I think it's probably a good thing that they can't hear the table audio.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, generally, we'll not have the table audio on the
Yeah,
stream just
yeah.
because.
Yeah.
So the thing is here, I think Cameron really needs to eliminate Heftober in this
4 dice
exchange.
into Hef.
Yes, exactly. Oh no.
They've not had much luck with their reds at the
No,
moment.
they got a
The
target
Vades
lock
have come
though.
back.
2 hits, so it's not
Yeah,
enough.
he's not happy
Unfortunately,
with that.
they didn't focus. He spent the lock. Yep.
Yeah.
Only 1 dice. He's probably only going to do 1. I feel an evade coming in. No. Okay. So that is very unfortunate for Cameron. It's
Yeah.
very, very likely that Hef gets killed with a focus target lock shot. So that is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
They're both saying the same. Should have been a minimum 3 hits off that
Yeah,
one.
I agree. And now Wedge is probably going to take a lot of damage in return.
These two across. Yeah.
Yep, so it's going to be 3 plays 2. Here come the hits. I knew it. And then we have a target lock. Okay, just 2.
Yeah, Cameron's commented as well. Their red dice haven't been very good this round.
Both of them, yeah. I have a feeling you spend the focus now and just try and get rid of as much damage as possible. Because damage now, damage
Yeah.
later.
Those tokens.
Yeah, those tokens, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the log you dump. Yeah, I don't think table audio should be streamed. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you. Completely agree with you. Okay. So yeah, now basically we have to see how punished Wedge gets here. If Wedge gets out unscathed,
Have I
then it's
missed
a really good turn.
Updates again.
Oh yep. So we got to do 2 on Hef.
2 on Hef.
And Lando's shooting. He's going to spend a focus into the U-Wing, which is the Blue
was
Squadron
Alvin.
Scout.
Oh, yeah, that's why he's so annoyed because there's only 1 left.
No, he's shooting at
Yeah.
F as well. I think.
It's
No.
two
No,
down
no.
on Hef.
He'd be shooting. It'll be.
Oh, because his arc's not pointing the right way.
Yep. So it'll be 2 off the Blue Squadron Scout
Shields
and
down.
1 more hull as well.
One more hull. Now, have I got that right? Because that
Yep.
would mean Hef's only 1 hull.
That's
Yes.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So that Wedge just missed out on the kill shot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's why it was important.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm not sure where that other dice is. It is 2 hits off of Jake, 1 evade off of Wedge.
Yep.
So he could get out of here. Did he?
Wedge.
Oh, so 2 shields off Wedge. He actually
2 of
ended
Wedge.
up
Shields down.
not spending the focus token. Yep, shields down
Yep.
on Wedge.
Hef's doing another shot. Oh, there's the 3 or 4.
So I'm not entirely sure about leaving
2.
damage. I usually just spend the tokens when they appear, because if Cameron doesn't roll any focus tokens right now, then he's not going to be able to
Yeah.
evade any damage.
On 2 dice, I would spend it for 1.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the likelihood of getting
Okay,
2
so-
focuses.
Yeah, so
is-
Cameron needs these 2 focuses here, and he doesn't get them. So basically, what would have happened is Wedge
down to
would.
1.
Yeah, Wedge still would have died, so the focus change wouldn't have made a difference. But Wedge is dead.
No, he's got
Yeah.
down to 1.
So 4 down on Wedge.
No,
No,
wasn't
he
it?
just
That
took
was
3
gone.
and 1. He just piled them up.
2 and 2, yeah?
Yep, 2 and 2. Now Lando is still in a position where he can win this game. It's just Wedge will be able to put a lot of pressure on him now. And do we know if Wedge got any of those torpedoes off? Looks like he just got 1 off. The plasma torpedoes.
Cameron's
Yeah.
Wedge is gone, right?
Yes, Cameron's Wedge just passed away. That was a rough exchange.
Yeah.
Rough exchange indeed. But Cameron is a really good shuttle player. Falcon player. So he can absolutely pull it out. Absolutely pull it out. Yeah, absolutely. So this is where Leia can really come into play. We can have a rotate here to put some pressure on Jake. Cameron fired 1 last turn. New Zealand, I think. Oh, he's going to New Zealand. I see. I think Jake can probably do a 3 sloop here behind Wedge. This is Cameron's Jake.
Jake.
Yep. So he needs to remove. He really needs to remove Wedge this turn, or as soon as possible. I think he needs to leverage the HP of Lando. Put as much pressure onto the opponent, Ryan's Wedge as possible, and do damage.
Yeah. Because losing his Wedge that round without taking down Hef, they're saying the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So if he had have killed
Yeah.
Hef, he would have lived.
Yeah.
Which is really sad.
Yeah.
I think Cameron got punished there a little too hard because the positioning of Cameron is great, and the alpha strike potential that Wedge has means that he should be doing like 3 damage or so to those. Wedge always dies. Yeah, Wedge always dies, but generally he's able to sell himself for something dear, and unfortunately he's only sold himself for 52 points, so it's rough. That being said, Lando should be able to like kill the Blue Squadron Scout and kill Heftobber in rapid succession, or maybe even Jake. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. What do you think Wedge does in this turn, guys?
The living wedge.
The living wedge. That's not the mouse.
That's a start for it.
What was his name?
Tom, can you help me out with pilot skills here?
Yes, I can, absolutely. So Wedge is a 6.
Yep.
The red A-Wing and the blue A-Wing are both 4s, but
Yep.
Cameron will be moving first.
Yep.
And then the big Falcon is a 5.
Yep.
And both of the U-Wings are 2s.
Right.
Yep.
So the U-Wings will be out the way when wedge goes.
They will be, yeah, correct.
And
Well, they might not be because he might be layering.
might be stopping.
So he gets to decide. Now he is going to spend layer after triggering Cassian because both occur at the start of the activation phase.
Yeah.
And he's
So
going
I think he's going that way from
It's
what you
closing
said.
wings.
going to
Yeah.
the left.
I was going to say, because
Yeah.
if they rotating 90 degrees, yeah.
Yep, which makes sense to
Yeah.
put pressure on Lando.
Yeah. Because otherwise their arcs will be out for
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
next round of shots.
Now, if Cameron's
wedge
called
should
it,
go slow.
yeah, but if Cameron's called that, then a 3 hard toward the gas cloud to the bottom left-hand side is probably the best move.
Yeah.
And he'll just be able to maybe chip away Hef.
Yeah.
And get the kill.
And that'd force them another turn to come back into
Exactly.
good range and good
Yep, by
shooting.
which Lando can leverage his double tokens
Yep.
because he can focus evade with Millennium Falcon title, and then also 3 hard in. But with Lando, he just got a really good roll there.
He got that a few turns ago as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's been quite consistent.
So that's an interesting move with Jake. I probably would have done the 3 sloop to get behind, but he might be able to barrel roll in and shoot that.
I was actually going to point out just before that a 1 hard barrel
would fit.
would be quite nice. It'll block wedge up.
Well, I'm not sure if the barrel roll fits though. That's the question, right?
No.
Yeah, he's just deciding to focus there instead.
I'd love to say plenty of room, but I just don't
Yeah,
believe it.
well, the perspective here is just so hard.
It's
Right?
so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's gonna. Looks like Ryan's called a right-hand turn with Lando, but I think if Cameron has picked all of this,
He should go.
go left.
I think but when he revealed, I think that's what I was drawing. I think he's revealed.
Oh, he's
a bank.
revealed
He did
right.
reveal a bank that way because he guessed that he went this way. But yeah.
Oh, he guessed the left-hand turn.
He guessed the
Okay, so this is the benefit of hearing that table audio.
Yes.
So Jake's about to barrel roll, and he'll be able to give the Blue Squadron Scout a focus with his ability, which means that he has double modified attack dice or single modified defense dice
Plenty of
against
room.
Lando. Yeah, plenty of room.
Plenty
there
of
you go. And yeah.
So he gives himself a
Yeah, we've seen the
focus.
stream dice rob quite a few people this weekend. I
They've been
think.
very swingy.
They have been. They really have been.
Oh,
Oh,
bye.
And we've had a
Not
boost
quite
off
plenty
of, and we've had a boost off of Jake, which is probably going to get. Okay, so Jake took the focus first.
Yeah.
Now he's passing it over to the U-wing.
Yeah.
We're going to see Lando here now doing a 3
One
hard. Oh, 1 bank.
One bank.
Oh, so he called a 3 hard.
I'm not quite
But it
sure what
must
was
have been.
called, but the revealed dice was one bank.
This is a good position for Cameron actually, because he'll be able to take a focus off of his free action and then boost. He might be tempted though to give Jake an action, which would be a focus. Oh, sorry, a boost in, or a barrel roll
He's
or
just
something like that.
considering that,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So, Ryan, Cameron's really good at like doing tricky synergies in the activation phase between all these pilots. So we'll have to see what he does. I think just
He's
taking
going to ability,
focus
finishing that
boost.
sentence.
He's, when you see Cameron's clenched fists, it means that he's really thinking hard.
Or leaning on the table. Like
Yeah, leaning on the table
That's
like that,
it.
exactly. Yep, so he's going to give Jake that boost,
Boost, yeah.
which won't unfortunately be enough to give a focus to Lando. But Lando will probably boost here to get out an arc of that white U-wing, which is Heftober. Unless he wants to take the shots, but I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. You've
He
played
said
the
he
Falcon.
can't win now. That's unfortunate.
Oh, is that what he said?
Maybe he means his action.
Oh, right, okay. He might be able to win. No,
He's
okay.
deciding to pray.
Deciding to pray, okay. Fair enough. Oh, there's the one back off wedge. That was what I was afraid of with the Jake move, but it might mean that Ryan decides to go for Jake.
Let's go. Let's go for Lando.
So he's done the R3 target lock, which means he can lock both. So we're gonna have to see what
He's not
happens.
an E-wing.
Yeah, he's not an E-wing yet. Yeah. So here we go. Dice are about to be rolled. Does Wedge have crack shot? No, he's just got the R3 astromech. Okay, so it'll be a range. I think it'll be range 3, which means Lando will at least get 1 dice. But Lando's on fire here, so
He will be on
potentially he
fire.
will be on fire. Yeah, exactly.
A very good chance.
Yeah, just some fantastic positional play. Just wasn't rewarded, unfortunately. So we'll have to see. Waiting for the dice to be rolled. There's no start of engagement triggers in these squads, so they're probably just having a long, hard think and chat about who to go for. Is there every chance in the world that Wedge one-shots Jake here? It'd take some good variance, but it's
Range
possible.
2 shot at Lando.
Range 2 shot at Lando. Okay, so we're going to get no dice rolled here for Lando. He's going to spend a lock.
Spends a lot.
Maximum he can do is 3 shields.
He
He's going
gets
to do
it.
all 3. Okay. Cameron's Wedge would have loved that when he attacked Hoff.
Lando range 1 to Jake.
Okay, going for Jake. Going to try and take him off the board here.
Third 4 dice roll, he's just said.
Okay.
But he hasn't been able to get.
Ooh,
That one
he
he's
gets
got
that
it.
one. That's
Yep.
4.
You blank out, you die. Blank out.
Not blank out. But it will mean that offensive mods are largely shut down. But I'm assuming he's got Predator and Crackshot. So, yeah.
Was that 1 shield or 2?
It was 1 shield
Yeah.
off Jake, yep. So Cameron's Jake going into Ryan's Jake here from range 1 with a Predator and a
Predator,
crack shot.
crack shot.
There's a hit, crit. No matter what he rolls, he's going to crack. Doesn't need to use crack shot. So that's a good thing. Means Ryan's Jake is guaranteed to be dead. A weapons failure crit would be beautiful right now, but we're not entirely sure what it is. Didn't see it. I think it might be a console fire.
Console fire.
Is that what he said? Yeah.
Console fire.
So no effect there. Just means that Jake's going to die. His Jake's actually dead.
Oh,
Yep.
1 more?
No, yeah, 1 more, yep. So he's
Thank
completely
you.
gone. Jake will get a Predator reroll. He's going to do 2 damage because crack shot.
And who was that on?
That was on Lando. So,
Lando 2 down.
Yep, 2 down.
Yep.
So if Lando lives this round from the oncoming Ewing
Jake's
assault, then
Range
he,
2 Lando.
yeah, this is Hef Tobber into Lando.
Yep.
Really praying for some variance on Cam's side. No,
Yep.
3 hits, 2 damage, and he's got to survive this shot from Hef here.
Yep.
Sorry, from Blue Squadron Scout. Range 2, see what happens. Can't kill Lando without a direct hit, so just 2 down. Spends the lock. 3.
It's the 3.
Takes
Saves
2
the
more.
1, 2 more.
Oi, oi, oi. So the best thing that we can hope for now is that Jake blocks up Wedge, and I think Lando needs to try and chip away at Wedge. So yeah, it's rough. That one turn, like either Wedge trades well or he doesn't. So it's
Yeah.
it's a big shame, big shame.
And as I said before, that I have on one
So
hull,
frustrating.
but he's had another 2 shots.
Yep, exactly. Just that one
Was
thing
it
made
3
the
red?
difference.
I don't know what he was throwing.
So your mates allowed to talk and discuss the gingery round?
No.
That's what I thought.
So at the moment, do you think Ryan's got the better position?
Ryan's got a fantastic position.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So basically, what would have been great here is
Yeah.
where's the dice? So Ryan's Ewing was here,
Yeah.
like the Hef-Tober one. What needed to happen is Wedge kills this Ewing, and then all the pressure gets placed on the Blue Squadron Scout to eliminate that. And then after you've killed the beef, you can deal with Jake and Wedge. But unfortunately, Cameron was forced to put all of his shots into Ryan's Jake, which basically gave Ryan a really good positional advantage with his U-wings.
Yeah.
So even though they are, as you said, Kat, only on 1 health or 4 health,
they're still doing
the pressure's
fire.
just
Yeah.
the pressure's just too much. And with a good Lando action roll, Heftober's going to be really hard to kill because if he rolls like even an evade, you know, it's really rough. So rough round for Cameron there with Wedge. Rough round for Cameron indeed. It's going to be very hard for Cameron to pull it out in 18 minutes. Even though the score is really close. The score is really, really close.
So from here, where do you reckon Cameron's best shots are? Like, because obviously he's got the guys coming in behind him now, which it's much better if you're going forward into them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what's his best moves to try and reposition,
Well,
given that he doesn't have a very good advantage right now?
yeah, so, I mean, the thing is with Lando, he gets 2 actions. So he needs to ensure that he gets a range 3 shot from Wedge because that'll be the only way that he rolls dice.
Yeah.
So as soon as Wedge is rolling, 3 with double modifications, assuming that some coordinate shenanigans happen, it's very likely that Lando just outright dies.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do would probably be like a 3 hard. This is what I would do to try and conserve a 3 hard up and boost around this debris cloud, which would make it really hard for.
They can't quite turn in quickly.
Yeah, well, they'll be able to shoot,
Yeah.
but it'll be obstructed by this debris cloud, and Cameron's just got to rely on variance at that point. I'd really like Jake to be able to do a 5k turn here, but I don't think it's going to fit with Lando's position because Leia is active, so that would probably be the best thing to do. It's really hard. So they're going to use Cassian here to guess the dials.
I think the 3 hard might put him a little bit. That's nowhere near.
A little bit too close. And that 2 hard off of Wedge actually might fit, like 2 hard in where Jake is. So if he does try and escape, Lando will be able to get back there.
So yeah, I think that's kind of where
Yeah. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
the 3 hard's going to put him.
There we go.
He did a 1 hard off of Jake into ward that Blue Squadron scout. So he's going to try and kill Heftober there, which is a really good idea. U-wings don't have a jam, do they?
No.
That's a really conservative move off of Hef. I think the 2 hard would have been the move there. He's getting 2 focus results. So as long as there's not an evade, Cameron's probably happy because it means Jake's going to be able to try and kill him.
Maybe that was just a bit of a precaution for if he did like a hard 2.
Yep.
This way.
That's a very good point. Yep. Yeah, so the best thing that Cameron might be able to hope for is like a 1 bank bump that U-wing. And then the 1 hard can kill Heftober and just pray that Jake blocks Wedge. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a bit of a...
So a barrel roll might get shots there. What do you reckon? Barrel roll toward Hef?
Yeah, it'll fit.
Yeah, I think he's going for
But
it.
will it get arc? That's the question.
Yeah.
Yep,
Looks
it'll
like
get arc
an
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a really good move off Cameron.
Yeah.
It's close on that arc though. 3 bank then boost is what I had him pick for. I'd like the 3 hard though, but it might be blocked by that Heftober. It won't be blocked. Oh, sorry, not Heftober. I keep confusing these U-wing names.
That's right.
So, yep, so Isaac was correct with the position, but I think the 1 boost will get him out of arc of both of these U-wings here, and that's what Cameron needs to do.
So the 1 bank boost isn't going to fit, and the 1 straight boost I think might not fit either.
You don't think the 1 bank boost fits? Not toward the top of the board.
No, this way, around the rock.
Yeah, that's what I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not toward the right, but if he goes straight, it's close.
It's annoying that this thing doesn't line up.
Yeah. I think even the 1 bank to the
He's
left.
trying to see if the 1 forward will fit.
So that's about the line. It's between the nub and directly between the nub and the edge.
Yep.
That's your 45
That's
degree
your
line
directional.
where your edge of your base is going to be when he banks. So
Yeah, I'd say wedge
he's
is
going to try
probably-
it though. He said he's going to try it.
Try the straight.
One
Straight,
foot,
yeah.
straight
Oh,
one.
it's close. Can someone hold the rock, please?
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, he's on. I wouldn't have tried it. I probably would have done a 1 bank boost because at least it puts some space between the U-wings.
Some action.
Yeah, that's a shame. Depends on what wedge does.
Oh,
now
I
as
didn't
well.
get his Lando either because it was a white.
Yeah, exactly.
He says if he'd done the bank,
Yep,
he would have avoided the arcs.
100%. So if he had done the left-hand boost there, he would have avoided all
Yeah.
three. He probably wouldn't have gotten a shot, but he would have been alive. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So if it's not impossible. It won't be impossible for Jake to win this, given enough positional advantage off of Cameron. Okay.
Thanks, Tom. We'll keep our thoughts with Jake here. Oh, 3, Lando's out.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. So they've just said as well,
Yeah,
not
for sure.
getting, was it Hef? First round there, first few
Wedge
rounds
just
there.
got him.
Yeah, they just said
Yeah.
not getting Hef the first few rounds.
100%.
and some of the dice rolls not going on the Reds.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
100.
So here's Jake. It's close. It's gonna.
So he's not happy with that roll.
That one.
Yeah.
It's close.
He's
like
okay with it,
one
but-
blank. There he is. So he's killed Hef.
Yeah.
No matter what. So Hef's out. Oh, you do it.
Now you go.
No. So you know what? Cameron can do this. He just needs to kill. No, he
Yeah.
need to kill. He needs to kill the Blue Squadron Scout and half wedge. But it's not impossible for the little A-wing to do it.
No.
12 minutes is slow. He's probably got 3 rounds left, I want to say. You have to K-turn. You're going to have to K-turn with...
No, I was just wondering if he keeps his A above half and half's wedge and kills Ewing. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. He needs to keep wedge above half. Yep, that's right. So 3 shields and 1 hull damage has been done to the Blue Squadron Scout. So that's half health. Yep.
Yeah, as you say, if he doesn't K-turn this turn, it's going to be a few turns to get round even for Jake.
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean. So he killed Jake, and he had half of Hef and the Blue Squadron Scout for a long time. Yeah, there we go. And now Hef got killed. So there you go. It's a rough turn. So Cameron actually needs to probably play a little quicker just to try for the points. No, it's all good. It's all good. No one likes flying rebels, really. So I think a 5k off Jake is probably the best thing to do. Ryan's going to be able to flip around here. So he's going to stop, do a 180. Wedge will do like a 2 hard in toward the left. And yeah, Jake shouldn't really play the arc dodging game, and he's just got to pray for good variance. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. So he's going to have all unmodified shots, which is good. So what's he done? Is that a
Too
K
hard.
turn? Nope, too hard. Okay. That does mean that the U-wing won't be able to pursue him this round. And if he does like a barrel roll in toward wedge, no, he's gone out. Interesting. Because what you can do is if you cut, I'm sure most of our viewers know it, but if you cut around this way, there's no way that you can be pursued. And then because you've got such a positional advantage, if say Jake had have been there and then turned in, he could have snagged the back of the U-wing and maybe killed it. But he's probably going for a long-range shot here, and then trying to maybe even conserve MOV. It's not impossible. So there's the 2 hard off of wedge. That's why I probably would have cut in behind the U-wing a little bit and then not stressed myself and done a 1 hard the next turn. Wedge won't be able to shoot Jake though, so it's good. We do have... Interesting that he didn't take a lock or anything on Cameron's Jake. He might already have one. There is a token down
So
there.
it's called range 3 obstructed on that one.
Okay, so it's going to be a 3v5.
Yeah, I think that's his.
Oh, that's his base symbol, is it?
That's his lock.
Oh my god.
What a roll.
Huge roll. Safe.
Safe.
That's all. So that is the kind of variance that Cameron needed on defense in subsequent rounds now. Like he needs to close the gap and hope that these greens just roll pure fire. But he's got 9 minutes now, so I reckon 2 more turns, maybe 3, to kill this Blue Squadron Scout and do 3 damage to wedge. Not impossible, but it's hard. And he can't lose half on Jake either. So, Kat, can we just do an experiment?
Yeah.
So if I do half to wedge, and I do this Blue Squadron out, Cameron will bounce to 170. So yeah, he cannot lose Jake. Sorry, he cannot lose half points on Jake, because that'll put Ryan in front no matter what.
Too hard again.
So it's really hard. Like it is hard for us making comments here in the panel because basically angle is everything. So while I think it's a really good idea to have gone that way with Jake behind Hef, assuming that Hef can't pursue you, the one hard or the reposition actions off of Jake might not have fit this turn, so that's why Cameron might have chosen to go out. But in such a tight game, and if you're on the time constraints, then you kind of need to take the risks and just pray that dice see you through. But unfortunately, I'm not going to lie, I think Cameron played a superior game. I just think that that Hef kill is effectively what lost him, because Cameron would have been in a really good position the subsequent turn with like a K turnaround and another target priority would have been great.
I think both teams did really well to keep their fleets together as well.
For sure.
Because coming onto that first engagement, both with wedges, if you kind of came in too fast or too slow, kind of sitting duck sort of scenario.
Yeah.
I think they approached that well without overdoing it.
Okay, yeah. So I was taking these
before the other one.
the phone calls, so
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't see it.
No, it was good.
But yeah, Ryan's really good at leveraging those big arcs, like
Yeah.
these big, because he's got a lot of firepower in this squad.
Yeah. But then, as you say, after they came in,
Yeah, exactly.
those encounters.
So this is where Jake needs to do it too hard. He needs to barrel roll out of the arc and get a focus token,
Yeah.
and then boost into range 1. Hope for a direct hit and kill this U-wing here. He's just got to do it.
This is
The issue is if he does that and comes toward the bottom of the screen, an aggressive move off of wedge, like a 3-bank left, could really punish Jake and maybe even one-shot him. Oh, I don't know if he's going to make it. I think the rock's going to get in the way of next turn, and he's going to boost. I think that's the right call.
Yeah.
Oh, don't boost bank. No. He needs
Yay.
Predator. It would have fit, but now he's turned off his Predator arc. But that's okay. It's still the same thing. It's just less consistent. There's a 3-bank off the wedge.
2-bank.
2-bank, okay. Oh, the 3-bank would have put him right on the rock. This is why perspective is everything.
Yeah, it's really hard to see from.
Yeah.
Actually,
He needs to barrel
yeah.
roll. Oh, he's going to go over the rock. This is exactly what Cameron needs. So he needs to not take any damage from wedge here, or maybe even one shield. Take a shield down on wedge. He needs to one-shot this bloody Blue Squadron Scout here, though.
Ooh.
It's okay. Just one. Oh, he's got a lock,
got
of
a lock.
course. So he
He's
can
been
take
focused.
3 damage. Oh my
Blanks
god.
out on the
That's a
bonus.
terrible roll. Unfortunately, dice just have not been kind to Cameron, and that'll be the game lost there. No matter what, I think.
Is that 3 on Jake? No.
It was 3 on Jake, yeah.
Jeez.
And that's an absolutely shocking roll, again, for Cameron. Yeah, so he's got 1 left on Jake.
Yeah.
It's a shame. See, and if that had been a crit or something, and that was a direct, it would have one-shot potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real sad.
As you said, potentially taking a lot on wedge. There it was.
Yeah, exactly. So now, we'll have to see what happens with Wedge going through over this rock.
Yeah.
It would have been a really strong position for Cameron had he have killed Hef there. It is very unlikely, but if it had happened, it would have been
Best
great.
odds, yeah.
Yeah, best odds, exactly.
Do you think if he hadn't, I mean, it's good he's boosted in for the range 1 shot, but do you think if he hadn't boosted in, that would have put him in a better position for next round, assuming there was one?
Yeah, the issue is, the boost in guaranteed an obstructed shot from Wedge.
Yeah.
I think had he have boosted straight.
Jake might have been gone.
No, he
If he
would have been.
hadn't boosted.
Yeah, but Wedge would have been here, which means that the
Yeah.
obstruction might not have taken place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it still would have been a range 2 shot, but it's just as likely that he loses that many health.
Yeah.
But he would have had the Predator.
Yeah.
But given the dice roll, he
Yeah.
wouldn't have gotten 3 hits anyway.
No.
So it's not. Yeah.
And it's, again, we're seeing this game that that one hull left.
Oh man.
I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, it causes so many problems. It's just like a pesky V19 or a Z95 that just never dies,
Yeah.
and you're just thinking, why am I shooting you? Yeah, it's terrible.
So last weekend I got decimated down to 1.
Yeah, and it
Chasing
just didn't
around.
go.
It went on the last.
Oh, so you got
hit.
it. Okay, that's
Yeah.
But that's, like, what, so you last turn of the game, you got it?
got it down to 3, and then left it for a bit, and then came back, and my 2 little plebs were like, "Come on, we need a round."
Oh, dear.
Finally got it.
That was me last weekend. System
Yeah.
Open playing against a double decimator.
Oh, you played against Double Decimator, did you?
And got down one really quickly, and then rack, and got some few good shots on my E-wing. So I had a 2 health E-wing versus 1 health rack for like the last 20 minutes of the game, just dancing around because I didn't want to risk getting in
Yeah.
in the wrong position because he's shooting first and he
Yeah.
could just take me out. So it was all just a dance.
Yeah, it's always a dance, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious.
There he goes, onto the rock.
Why'd you barrel roll then? That's my question.
Onto the rock.
Very interesting move from Ryan.
That's a bit sharp.
There's the damage that
and
Cameron
it-
would have needed
Yep.
had he have killed.
He's thrilled with that one.
But yeah, that's the damage that Cameron would have needed, basically, had he one-shot heft there.
Where are we, Wedge?
Just one. Don't
One shield.
blank out.
Yep.
Do not blank out. Oh, he's got a target lock. And there's
It's got the
focus
focus for
spin.
3.
Yep.
Safe.
What did he say?
He's like, look at that, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Squiggles the wiggles.
Yeah. Oh, Cameron. That's the thing. Like these team events, it's a relatively hard matchup for Cameron, and you see a lot of these top tier players that get frustrated because I'm not saying Cameron's getting frustrated, but you can see top tier players that have to take the big hit for a round to ensure the rest of the team get good matches. So a lot of the time you can kind of like. This is an even match,
Yeah.
Theoretically, if dice variance hadn't have been such a factor.
Yeah.
But some players can just be like, oh, I've had such a bad day. Like Grant O'Dwyer, for instance, he's one of the best players in New South Wales, let alone Australia. Last OTC, he didn't win a single game, but he got thrown under the bus so many times that it ensured New South Wales won the event.
Yeah.
But I remember talking to him at the pub that night. I said, "Oh man, you won! Like, congratulations!" He goes, "I didn't feel like I won
Didn't feel
anything,"
like I
but he did. They kind of won the tournament on the back of him. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So what have we done here? I think we got another lock on Jake from Ryan's Blue Squadron Scout. Oh, why is the Blue Squadron Scout coloured out? Because I brought it back.
Oh.
See that?
Oh.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Coming back from New Zealand.
Okay, so Wedge likely can maybe finish the job here. Looks like he's done a pretty conservative move, assuming that Jake would have moved to the left-hand side.
Yeah. He's been good in doing that, in covering both ways they could go.
Yeah, he has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one skill of these. Like
Yeah.
a successful beef player
Yeah.
will be the fact that they have to maintain like good arc coverage,
Yeah.
which he has done very well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And still reposition right now for the way that they've chosen.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I completely stuffed up the points there, but that's okay. I did zero it back, but I gave the health back, and I thought that would bring it back. Could be the final dice roll of the game here. We're going to hit crit into Jake.
Suspense.
There we go.
No, well done.
Some bad dice variance there for Cameron. Yeah. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to do a run around on the stream. There's only about 50 seconds left. I'll finalise the pairings for who makes it into the final and not, and I'll be back with you soon.